Hey, what's up everyone, Morey Croson here, and we have another new breakdown for you today. It's actually going to be a comparison video of Sam Ehlinger and Joe Burrow. I got some recommendations for both of these quarterbacks here recently and just wanted to be able to put a video together that's going to really showcase both these guys and what they're able to do really well. I'm putting a big focus on the release time because I do see that as a big difference between some of these elite level quarterbacks in comparison to quarterbacks that I end up working a lot with, which is more on like the high school to college level, that are trying to really understand how to get their overall mechanics into that elite level status. So really going into the release, I think, is an important part of being able to better understand that. As always, if you like the information on the video, go ahead and click the thumbs up button down below. That helps us out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have any recommendations for us, go ahead and leave us a comment down below. We'll go into hop into the video right now. All right, so here on the right, we have some recent footage of Joe Burrow. Obviously, he's in the Bengals uniform just because he recently got drafted by them. And then Sam Ehlinger, I'm assuming that they're not practicing at Texas right now. So this video is taken last spring, last March, and so it's a little bit older, but still will be able to show really the big focus that we want to put on in this breakdown, which is going to be on the release time. So as typical, what I do is I start off with when the hand originally leaves the football, so we can see that at 1:55:78, just using that timestamp down below. And I do think that people that join the program do see the biggest improvement probably in their release time, and that does impact your overall ability to generate a lot more power, just because I put such a huge emphasis on that, because I think that's again a big differentiator between a lot of guys that are in middle school, high school, and beginning years of college, and a lot of these guys that are in the NFL, is they're just able to get the ball out of their hands a lot faster. And I think that also correlates to being able to put more velocity on the ball, just because of how that whole stretch shortening cycle works. I recently made a video about that. I'll go ahead and put that right above if you want to learn a little bit more. But 1:55:78 on the way back, and it just doesn't waste very much time in getting that load, right? So 0.1 second is where he's at now, where he's loaded that ball, right? I see a lot of people that take a lot more time to just get the ball back. So it's an excellent quick load. Again, stretch shortening cycle. So he puts a good amount of stretch on the body, on the shoulder, and he does that very quick, right? And then from there, he's driving that elbow through, and he gets the ball out of his hand at 1:56:08, right? And essentially what that is 0.3 seconds, right? And when I did the video here recently, it was Patrick Mahomes getting the ball out of his hands, also in 0.3 seconds. So a good comparison there. Then we'll go ahead and look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a little bit harder to really see when the ball leaves his hand. It's somewhere between 56:85 and 56:89. We'll just say 56:89 here. But you can see he's a little bit different in how he ends up loading the ball, right? He pushes the ball back a little bit more. Sam Ehlinger just goes in and immediately just kind of lets go of the ball, brings that arm back, doesn't drop the ball as much. He just kind of brings it right back through. But notice where the ball's a little bit below, the elbow here. He has also the nose of the football facing straight ahead. Just look to see some of the things that he does when he's loading. He's in a nice little 90-degree angle there with the body. I'd say the big thing that I recognize here is the nose of the football isn't going upwards. I see that a lot of times with guys when they load, they allow that nose of the football to come up and really drop that index finger. Also, you could look to see how he's just holding the ball. It looks like he's pretty relaxed with that index finger as he's going back, and he has 2 fingers on the laces at least. He has that other third one pretty close to it. And really does a good job of being able to, the ball just looks very small in his hands when he's going in and holding it here. And then we look here at Joe Burrow. He goes and he kind of drops the ball a little bit as he's going back and loading. Again, he probably let go of the ball is 56:89-ish, because he kind of pushes the ball back a little bit more. That usually, when we see that, a lot of times that's big on being able to create that disassociation with the hips and with the shoulders. So you can see his shoulders are going that way, hips are going that way. He does a great job of getting that foot down right away, right? He doesn't spend any time with getting that foot down. And then you could also see he's very much on the inside part of the foot when he puts that foot down, which then makes it so then as he transfers his way through, he's able to transfer it through that whole foot, right? So he lands more on the inside and then is able to get all of his weight forward and through. Again, he loads it to probably about that right there. Again, about 0.1 second on the load. And then from there is able to fire that elbow through, doesn't let that ball get too far back behind his head, creates an excellent amount of external rotation within his shoulder there, and then is releasing the ball at about 57:22. So you let go of it at 56:89. or you know, the initiated the load and released at 57.22. So he's at about 0.33 with his release time from top to bottom, getting the ball out of his hand, right? And so again, really, really good. I mean, you could also see does a great job of getting that elbow all the way through. I see a lot of guys that end up getting kind of stuck with their elbows a little bit more out here, where that little bit last part of horizontal adduction I think is very important to be able to create a little bit more whip into the actual throw. So getting that elbow all the way through close to your ear, right? Don't let it get stuck out there. Get that elbow all the way through, then be able to fully extend the elbow as you're coming through. I think that those are all super important. The camera person didn't really focus on Joe Burrow here, so you end up getting a little bit more of, you know, that video that ends up kind of being a little shaky there. But you know, he still does a great job being able to transfer all of his weight forward and through within that hip, within that leg. And I think he, again, sets himself up with that very well by getting that front foot down early and also being on the inside part of the foot, which then makes it so that all of his weight is able to transfer through and generate a good amount of force. And those are obviously important parts that we're looking for as well when you send in any videos of yourself and breaking it down. But, you know, big thing that I would say, especially lately with the breakdowns and where I've been able to see the most amount of improvements with quarterbacks is the release time. And, you know, I've just been so happy with being able to help people with their release time and how that's made it so then they're able to transfer a lot of, you know, that information into being able to throw the ball with more velocity and more importantly, just get the ball out of your hands sooner. Once you can get the ball as a quarterback, your job is to facilitate, you know, you're like a point guard in basketball. You're supposed to facilitate the offense. You're supposed to be getting it all going. So in order to do that, you got to get the ball into the right guy's hands and give him plenty of space and plenty of time to be able to make a move and be able to you know, get loose and make a play. And so, you know, if it takes you too long to get the ball out of your hands, you know, that's obviously going to end up negatively impacting the ability of, you know, that athlete, receiver, running back, tight end, whoever it may be to be able to catch the ball and make a play. So you want to be able to optimize that the best that you can. And again, by being able to optimize that, I do think that ends up impacting your overall throwing velocity as well. And that's obviously an important part as well for quarterbacks to be able to really maximize. So hopefully this video helped you guys out and can get a better understanding of what you want to do from a, you know, release perspective and really understand that. I guess real quick, I do want to show you with the nose of the football and being able to really generate that, you know, getting that elbow coming forward and through, and then also making sure that the nose of the football comes forward and through is super important. Watch out both of those guys, how fast they are in getting the nose of the football coming forward. You know, the big thing that I see again, that is a common mistake is once they get to this position, and I think Sam Ehlinger really did it best, is, you know, I see a lot of guys that just lift the ball straight up here. Where notice where he's here and he's driving the elbow through this whole time. So by the time that ball gets, you know, to the highest point, he's already rotated a good amount in his arm to make it so then the elbow can just come right through and he can release the ball. When you end up getting it too far stuck back here, that adds another, you know, 0.1 to 0.2 seconds of time because now you have to bring the ball back around. And it also makes it so when you release the ball coming out to the side more rather than driving straight through. We can see here where Joe Burrow does a great job of driving it through. Better angle here with the Joe Burrow video to be able to really drive that elbow through to make it so the ball ends up having that nice flick to it and also has a good time behind it. So yeah, some important things to be able to understand with the, you know, art of throwing the ball. And as always, if you guys have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them for you. We have some links in the description down below to get yourself set up with the breakdown, get yourself set up within the program, you know, whatever makes better sense to you. If you want to reach out to me and talk to me a little bit more about that first, we have different contact information down below as well. You can either send me an email or shoot me a call through the website. Either way works out. We'd love to be able to talk to you. Love to be able to help you guys out. And as always, thanks for watching these videos. We'll talk to you soon.